This is KCBD News Channel 11 at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Bleak. That's how Congressman Jodey Arrington describes the financial future of our country if we don't rein in our spending. Arrington is now chairman of the House Budget Committee and hopes he can work with his colleagues to address the country's borrowing limit.
KCBD News Channel 11's Shaylee Sanders had a one-on-one interview with Arrington about his new role and the future of our nation's economy. Shaylee?
Karen and Abner, soaring interest rates, a deep and sustained recession, and the highest debt to gross domestic product in our nation's history. That's what Jodey Arrington says the country is dealing with right now. He says it's time to take inventory of our nation's debt and the risks it presents to our country's fiscal health.
I saw the interview with Representative Boyle that he did with CNN. And he claims that 25% of our national debt happened in the 4 years that Donald Trump was in office.
It's about past spending, much of which, by the way, happened under a Republican Congress and a Republican president.
He put this on Twitter. When there is a Democrat in the White House, Republican lawmakers suddenly become concerned about the deficit and debt. What's your response to his claims?
I would say that Republicans and Democrats both have contributed to this mess. I'm not going to put this all on Democrats. The debt and our terrible and unsustainable debt trajectory and this spending our country into bankruptcy is not a partisan issue. It's a fact of math.
Is defaulting on the debt even a consideration?
We'll pay our debts, but we are not going to give a new credit card to this president or any politician that's going to use it to continue down this slope of bankrupting our country. That's the direction we're heading.
Let's talk about the fiscal reforms. What do you see happening in the next few years?
Our balance sheet looks like 30% discretionary spending, which is what we do through the appropriations and budget process, and then 70% is on auto spend. But we have to work together to rein in the spending, whether that's spending caps or some other measure. People have talked about debt to GDP with targets with the glide slope down. I'm for that.
How do you think this all ends?
I hope and pray, and I'm committed to it ending with us paying our bills, lifting the debt ceiling responsibly. This is the challenge of the 21st century, and we're going to work together as, not as Republicans and Democrats, but as Americans first, to do the things that are necessary.
The Treasury Department is taking extraordinary measures to pay the federal government's bills. Arrington again is hopeful Republicans and Democrats can work together to avoid a gridlock. Karen and Amner.
Thank you, Shaylee.